Express what you want to say right now. I'm waiting for my guest. TikTok. Here we go. Trying to find the link so I can send it to him so he can share it. There you go, buddy. How are you guys doing today? We're going to be talking to James Sullivan. This is John Sullivan's brother. Public enemy number one in my eyes. Even though that's his brother, and I definitely respect that. I don't respect what he did in regards to the Capitol, his agitation thus far, not only to the Capitol, but to the United States of America. It's just not cool, period, point blank. You know, a lot of people suffering from his antics, not just his antics, several others. So we're going to be chopping it up with him. See what he's got to say about his brother's case. We're going to be talking about the Republican Party and how pretty much useless they've become. You know, I know a lot of people don't like me talking about that, but I truly don't care. I know Russo's on. We already talked. Yo, Jonathan, how you doing? So we're waiting for James Sullivan. He has the link. He's going to be coming on here talking. I can't even go live on Facebook anymore. They completely took my ability to go live, which sucks. And you know what else sucks? Uh-oh. What? Sorry, I'm reading messages. I forgot what I was even saying. Dang. Just know I can't go live on Facebook. Because Facebook sucks balls. Yeah, not from my own page. Hello. Pay attention. Bruh. I don't like when people make me wait. I really don't. I'm on time for everything. Come on. Make sure if you're watching via Facebook, YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the page. All that jazz. And hit the notification bell so that you don't ever miss another video. I can't wait. I know we're going to have fun chopping it up on your show. Indiana's watching. Hello, Texas. Yeah, while we're waiting, guys, why don't you drop your locations, where you're from? How are you? Pennsylvania. See all the Las Vegas. That's my favorite place to vacation. And Washington. Tennessee is here. I'm good. How are you doing, Liz? Texas, Georgia, Pennsylvania. Nice. All over the map. We got Cali here. Virginia. North Carolina. Stand up. Pennsylvania, you can stand up too, because I was born and raised in Erie, Pennsylvania. Born and raised. Montreal, Canada. We got Canadians here. Really? Yeah. Canadians. Oh man, it's so good to see where all you guys are from. Welcome to the show. Tune in. Oh, he's here. Let me pull him up. I need to get this comment down. Welcome to the stream, James. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. We finally get to talk face to face. We mess this all the time.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. No, it's good to be here.
Thank you, man. So let us know what's going on. I know you wanted to come on here and talk about John, the Republican Party. I'm going to let you take the floor for a bit.
All right, yeah. So a lot of people don't know me, but my name is James, and I'm the brother of John Sullivan. So John actually, he originally came out back in last summer in June after George Floyd died, and he came out with Insurgents USA. And then in July, he had the protests where he instructed somebody to fire into a car because he claimed that they were driving through his protesters. I worked with the FBI and the local police on indicting him and giving him a character analysis. And he was arrested and then let go. And then he actually ended up moving to Sandy, Utah, here where I live. And he continued to do Insurgents USA. I ended up working with a couple of his colleagues and getting his community turned against him, and then he kind of disappeared. Fast forward to October 10th with the VP debate. John Sullivan and his Black Lives Matter and Antifa buddies who were in front of the U, instigating the Trump supporters that were there to support Pence, and we started going back and forth on both sides, and a documentary person by the name of Jade Sacker came out to cover my brother and I. Jade was also seen at the Capitol on January 6th. So they sent two separate teams to follow John and I out to follow different things we did. I started a movement here in the Salt Lake Valley, the Patriot movement here, with a couple of other leaders. And John was going around in streets at the age of 22 years old, rampaging because a black thug was killed on the streets. So anyways, that went on for about like 3 months. And then December 12th came, and that was the second time the Patriots kind of stormed the Capitol or DC. And I went out there with a couple of different speakers and John had shown up, and he had worked with he had shown up on the other side of the Washington Memorial from where our stage was. And all I saw was a bunch of Proud Boys come over the hill towards the stage, and they rushed the stage while a former Utah Speaker of the House, Greg Hughes, was on. And they said that I was working with my brother. And I know you said not to mention him, but Cash Kelly was also at that event, and he was very confused as to what was going on. And I was punched and kicked and thrown off the stage. I found out later that John had worked with Thad and another Proud Boy to kind of do the same thing that I did to him, which was turn my following against me. And he paid the Proud Boy to storm the stage to tell him I was working with him and I was actually Antifa, which is insane. So anyways, I was kind of left on my own. All the leaders in Utah kind of didn't turn against me, but kept their distance. And from December 12th to January 6th, I was just going through mental health stuff. And the January 5th happened. I got a message from one of John's friends who's in Black Lives Matter. He said, "Hey, James, I wouldn't normally reach out to you, but John is doing some pretty serious stuff." And he said, "What is he doing?" He said, "Well, here's a link to the Discord chats." And I got into the private Antifa Discord chats from Antifa groups in Seattle, Boston, New Jersey, New York, and Virginia. And they were all planning on busing to DC to disguise themselves as Trump supporters. They had bought over, I think it was over, like, they had a sponsor who I know the name of now, who donated money for them to get, I think, over, like, they didn't use them all, but like 5,000 different Trump hats, different Trump apparel, so they could disguise themselves as patriots. So on January 6th, I did not go to the Capitol, but I got somebody on a live messaged me, and I watched the live that he was streaming to me, and I saw he was walking right behind John as he was instructing Capitol Police to move over. He was getting a bunch of his Trump disguised Antifa members to follow him, and they went into the Capitol. So Ashley Babbitt was actually right next to my brother when she was shot, and he actually pushed her in front of him when the cops came out, and then she was shot, and he, instead of helping her and trying to, you know, save her life, he videotaped her dying. So from that point on January 6th, I got over, I think, like 1,000 messages. I got to work with, I can't say their names, but they all famously worked on trying to decertify the election because it was stolen. I got to work with those people on investigating John, and they came in almost immediately. In fact, Rudy Giuliani actually tweeted he wanted to tweet my number, or not my number, messages between us, me like giving him a bunch of evidence that I gotten from a investigative reporter. He wanted to share that with his followers, so he actually tweeted my number with it, and I got blown up by. he's definitely an old man. I got like over, I think, like I woke up, my phone was red hot because I was getting text messages from people all around the country and world that hated and then hated me or wanted to know more information about John. So that was crazy. I had to call some Indian lady in India for Verizon and change my number at 3:00 in the morning. Yeah. So that all happened. And then fast forward to now, John, because of the work that the investigative team has done, and myself being a part of it, and the prosecution team, John has the $90,000 he got for selling the footage of Ashley Babbitt was seized. His computer, his phones, his laptops, any form of communication was seized. All of his bank statements from every account that he has were seized, and they were able to actually, not with his, but with the other ones that they've sourced, they were able to track every single benefactor, sponsor, and donor that the Antifa used on the 6th, including the names of all the paid actors that were there. So the people that the Trump supporters were saying, like, don't destroy this, these people are Antifa. A lot of those people were Antifa, and then some of them were paid actors. So that's all going to be coming out during his trial. I will be testifying at his trial, along with a bunch of different patriots from Utah, from DC, people who had tried to help Ashley Babbitt, Andy No, I think I said his name right, Andy No, who I'm not going to say was there, who also had stuff on John. So there's just a lot of things that will start coming out with John's trial. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited about that. And yeah, that's everything about John that people, I guess, didn't really know. But yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that, because it is your brother. I'm sure it puts you in a awkward space. So I appreciate you for sharing that and giving people an actual inside look in what's happening with the prosecution and all this, because I know a lot of folks are like, why is this dude running around free? I've said it. How? But we'll have to see how this plays out in court. I am excited. I really am. And I will be praying for you, because I'm sure a lot of people's safety is at risk. So just know that you'll be in my prayers, and everybody here that's watching. And thank you for sharing that, man. A lot of people needed to hear that.
Yeah.
Seriously. Look, that's a bunch of thank yous flying across the screen.
Yeah. So something that a lot of people don't know is that with his trial and with the release of this information, a lot of I'm not going to say all their names, but a lot of the patriots that have been charged with treason, with breaking, entering, all this different people just walk through the door, they're going to be exonerated. It's taken a lot longer than I anticipated it to, but it's going to expose a lot of the things that that the Democrats and different private interest groups orchestrated on that day. So it's really going to help the cases of a lot of the people in there that are either sitting in federal prison and house arrest, or just facing felony charges with no priors because of people like my brother. So
facts. And everybody knows what Cash talks about, how they're being treated there. So help is coming. It's taken much longer than it should have. And I remember me, James, and Russo would talk about how we could figure things out. And he definitely was like, look, I'm helping. It's going to take some time, but I'm helping. So we're good with that. I personally, when I talk about, and I know you do too, I have made it my business to talk about the Republican Party, and we can also relate it to the 6, because they've been virtually quiet on a ton of different issues happening in the U.S. and I don't really understand why.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
so it's not just with January 6th or like the vilification of the Patriots. It's with a lot of different things. Like with Black Lives Matter, there's no response to it. They point to critical race theory and they call it bad, but they don't have an opposition, any other type of curriculum or anything. So like if they haven't done anything or much of anything for the Black community before Trump for 3 decades.
Yeah.
They hand them off to Democratic leaders. They don't put money into people like Joe Collins, Alex Stovall, Kimberly Klacik, who are running against these radical leaders in these cities. I know that Joe Collins is currently running against Maxine Waters. If any of you know Joe Collins or don't know Joe Collins, I recommend following him and donating. He's doing really good this time. He's running against Maxine Waters to kick her out of her district that she doesn't even live in. So yeah, there's a lot that the Republican Party can do very easily that they just don't, and it starts with those candidates. We have Black and white candidates that are running against the liberal like the liberal dream team, like the AOCs, the Ilhan Omars, and nobody is uplifting these people except for Kimberly Klacik and Candace Owens, and they're not even officially elected officials. They're advocates for the Republican Party. But yeah, so like there's a lot of things that are happening, but they're so quick to tell the left that they're wrong, but they don't replace it. And they also, when Black Republicans, such as myself and you, I don't know how much experience you've had on the streets with the Patriot movement, but when I was in the streets here in Salt Lake City, they kind of used me as like a token Black guy, and I say this in the best way possible. They would say accurate things. They would tell me to say things or accurate things that I actually believed in, that they couldn't say because they were white and would be deemed racist. But the second that I wanted to say something, kind of the stuff that you and Cash and all these other people, all these other Black conservatives say, they deem as too radical, or I can't associate myself with you because I'll be called racist. They abandon you, and then they either try to control you, or they just say like, okay, like I'm not going to be, working or funding you anymore. So when it comes to Black Republicans, they support us, but only to an extent. And that's also the problem. And it's not, and a lot of people, I've seen the flack that you've gotten, Sunni, from, speaking out against the Republican Party, but you have to remember that these people are human. They make errors. A lot of them, had like law degrees, they own businesses. They're still, every year they're still learning how it works. There's a learning curve, and there are mistakes that they make on a daily. And one of the biggest mistakes is completely abandoning the Black community and letting the left control our education systems.
Facts, man.
Yeah.
Facts. And it's ridiculous that nobody wants to talk about that, or nobody wants to admit it. Like when you start out, you're like, yeah, the Republican Party, they're going to be there for the Black community. They're going to help. And then for so long, it's been like, it's been years now. 2 years I've been public. It's like, nobody's doing anything, bro. The inner city is still the same. Education's still the same. Candace Owens, me, Brandon Tatum, you, Hodge Twins, we're still talking about the same shit because absolutely nothing has changed on either side of the political spectrum.
No,
either
it hasn't.
Side.
It really hasn't. I mean, the left is like a well-oiled machine. And I say that with like, actually some of the things they do is absolutely like, in my mind, like just amazing. Like the way that they manipulate people and the way that they're able to indoctrinate the Black community to the point where the radical leftist beliefs are now taught in the home. It's become generational. They don't even need to put money into it anymore. And that's the thing, is that the right's like, why are all these Black people saying that we're racist? We're the ones that, advocate for civil rights. We fought for their freedom. And it's because they have allowed the left to indoctrinate them, and they're not providing any counter source of narrative. And that's the thing that Candace is doing and what we're doing. But it needs to be done on their levels as well. There needs to be like a Republican or a right or a moderate version of a full and inclusive American history where it represents all ethnicities. And it's not really it's not being done. I know Candace is doing it with Brexit. I know that Charlie Kirk is doing it. I know that Glenn Beck is doing it, but nobody on the Hill or in office is supporting it.
They're not. I think it's fear. I think a lot of it is fear. I think a lot of it is just like, we're going to just stay comfortable doing nothing. And who knows what else it is, but it's ridiculous. And you can't get mad at me for telling you the truth about each party. It's not just the left, man. Like it's not.
No, it's not. Give me 1 second.
It's okay. We're going to be in here in a little bit anyway.
Okay.
Fear and money. It's crazy is what it is. And it blows my mind how conservatives, and I have lost so many followers for talking about the Republican Party.
So there's a difference. So a lot of people don't know. Before I say any of this, I love Trump. I love Trump. I love everything that he's done. But a lot of people don't know that Trump is actually a brand. And I have a background in marketing and sales. And with brands like Nike, Adidas, Subway, Trump is just like that. It's a brand. He made billions of dollars. Him and his family made billions of dollars off this brand. And he ran with his brand, which I think is incredible. As a marketer, I was looking at it. And I was like, this man is one of the smartest men I've ever seen. The way that he marketed himself, the way his team marketed an already existing brand into a campaign slogan was incredible. But what people don't realize is that there's a lot of people that become fans of Trump. And those are the people that you're seeing that are, they are deactivating because Trump's no longer in office.
Yep.
Those are the people that, that take down their Facebook pages of 30,000 people like MAGA or Women for Trump, and they take it down because they're like, oh, we've lost. Those are Trump fans. They don't know anything about his policies. They don't know anything about what he's actually done for the country that's not mainstream. They're not looking into the actual work that he's done to drain the swamp. And they're also not looking at the fact that Trump made his whole career about actually critiquing the Republican Party. It wasn't just the Democrats. The Republicans did not like Trump for his first 2 years in office.
Yep.
Because he was calling them on all of their bullcrap. So we need to continue to do that as Americans. Trump was just like us. He was my dad on the couch, like screaming at Fox 5, CNN, whatever. But he was doing it in office, and he was saying, you guys are wrong. So he essentially was taking all of our frustrations, everything that we were mad about for the establishment, for the Republicans and the Democrats, and he was calling them out. Like, this was a man that went on Twitter and kind of secured peace in the Middle East just by tweeting "fuck around and find out." So like you're just kind of sitting here and you're like, why as Americans, just because the election was stolen, why do we stop? The movement's still here. We still, the liberals don't like this, but we still control the narrative in this country. The only reason why they're becoming loud is because we're going back to being silent.
Yep.
And we can't afford to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on, man. We got to do this again.
Oh yeah.
And we got to talk about maybe more in depth when I don't have another show.
Okay.
The difference between the Republican and the left and what both parties are doing, because I really do. I think that Americans need to know the truth, and I love waking people up. I'm just going to tell you now, like when you guys come at me in the comment section, it's motivation. I get a rush from that. Oh, yeah. Just being able to engage. Like, you want to fight me on this? This is basic common sense. You sure you want to fight me on this? And people do it and they end up getting in their feelings. Just like this lady, she's freaking out on me because I'm like, can you stop? I don't want to talk about Q. I'm good. You know what? Now I don't have a relationship with God. I'm like, the stuff is like, come on, man.
Yeah. If you don't have logic, you don't have anything at all.
Facts. Well, thanks for coming on and giving us that information about the 6. I'm going to have you back. We'll be working. All right. I hope everybody enjoyed what they heard. Please make sure you share this live, as I am going through a massive battle with Facebook, and everybody knows that. Share it so that more people can hear the truth. And we'll be back with Primetime Patriots. Go back and watch Anthony, because I know I took all of his audience. Go watch Changemakers Will Be the Change. And then we have a cool episode of Consequences tonight at 9. So I'll be seeing you guys later. I'm out.
All right.